we've been talking about doing this for a long time.
Yes,
and since DC FanDome just happened, this is kind of like the perfect segue into it.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we basically are here just to break down everything that happened at the event yesterday.
And have a few laughs along the way, a few quick, jokes and laughs.
Tidbits.
Yeah, a few quick bits.
Because everyone needs those.
Yes, everyone needs a bit of quick laughter in this time. So, can I ask you guys a few questions just to open up, though?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Comparative to Comic-Con, how did you guys perceive DC FanDome? Because I've not been able to find any numbers, but I think DC FanDome was a largely more successful event.
If we're talking this year specifically, there's no comparison. Like, I don't think we even, Comic-Con I don't think had a lot of content with their panels at all. Mm-hmm. It was nowhere near in grandeur, I guess you could say, for DC FanDome, I would say.
Yeah. Even production value-wise, I feel like they really took out all the stops, and the Marvel one, which is eventually going to happen, I think, when they do their...
they actually did do Comic-Con.
But
a few oh, you mean like the actual
the Disney Expo one or whatever it is.
Oh, D23.
D23, yes.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like that's going to have to really step up its game to compete with this.
And I don't even know if it can. I mean, considering I think Marvel is used to being on top, and they're not too worried about competing with DC films in that sense, like too much. So they kind of revealed everything that they had for the next 2-3 years that we know of. So I don't even know if there's enough content for them to still bring people back in, which, could be the case, could not be the case. But as of right now, DC is definitely standing to win 2020 in terms of comic book films.
Now that it's a competition, but yes, they will win.
Yeah. I think they were really smart in the sense that they kind of had a feeling that Comic-Con wouldn't work out, so they had to plan their own event completely. And the fact that they made it like global and free to everyone, and it's accessible to everyone, I think that was a very good move from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah. But also I feel like it was really good on their actual merch side, because I kept on seeing ads for merch everywhere, the actual selling a product a lot more. Like, for instance, on Steam, all DC games were like 80% off. So I picked up all the Arkham games for $2, and I'm playing Batman, the first one, and I'm loving it. It is amazing.
That is amazing.
I'll talk about it later on when we can recommend some stuff at the end. But I say let's get right into our first little tidbit of news, shall we?
Yeah, sure. So we are going to do this based on the most important events in chronological order based in DC FanDome. So the first one we're going to talk about is obviously Wonder Woman 1984, which we got a lot from. We got a sit-down panel from the cast members, from Patty Jenkins, and a surprise guest that came, Linda Carter, who is an icon, who was the original Wonder Woman, or one of the first actresses to play Wonder Woman.
On the live-action TV show, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
So that was amazing.
I still have a DVD box set of that in my.
Do you really?
Wow.
Yeah,
so cool.
My mom was a big Wonder Woman fan, so I have a DVD box set of all that. I definitely want to go back and rewatch that one of these days.
Oh, you totally should if you have it. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's so cool.
It's that and the Super Friends box set. So I grew up on classic DC, none of this new stuff. It's all the,
it's all the old
Superman
ones,
show.
the good ones.
Yeah, exactly. Before, DC turned dark. Yeah, but I have really high hopes for this movie, honestly. I love the original Wonder Woman. It is such a good movie. I love the war aesthetic.
Yeah.
The ending was a bit off for me. I'm one of the people who don't really like the way it kind of turned down the editing. But I do feel like this movie has a lot of potential, bringing Chris Pine's characters back, of course. And we got Pedro Pascal as well, playing as well as the cheetah, which should be very interesting.
I didn't actually realize Kristen Wiig was cast as Cheetah. So I was listening to them talk in the panel, and I was like, oh, they're spoiling because they're saying that she's a villain and she's this. And everyone I told about it was like, are you, did you not get in the loop?
It's you have a podcast depicting
this is
movies.
already new. This is old information then. But we finally got to see her in full CGI prosthetic form of Cheetah. which I actually think looked pretty good.
I thought it looked very good because Patty Jenkins mentioned that it was half CGI, half practical, which is very cool. Like a very cool concept to do that. And I was like afraid that it was gonna look like Cats, the movie Cats.
Yeah,
I think that's what everyone thought.
Yeah. But
I want to see the behind the scenes photos of this though, you know?
Mhm.
I want to see the behind the scenes photos. I want to see the half practical Katsu. I think it would be really
right.
fun.
And we only saw in the action sequence, right, when she was moving around a lot. So I think it obviously is probably going to be a little different when we see her just stand alone.
Exactly.
But for the most part, as of right now, I don't have a problem with the suit. I think she looked good.
I think
and I liked
really cool.
I like the choice Patty made with showing the progression of Cheetah rather than just having her in full form automatically right off the bat. Because it kind of gives, I was talking about it earlier, it gives a little bit like a parallel to the whole concept between why the Batman and Joker are enemies. Kind of like that Batman was, you know, rich and he was powerful, he had a huge legacy and family in Gotham, and then Joker was kind of for the poor people, or the people who kind of saw Batman's wealth and was like, you know, that's not someone who's fighting for us. And I think the same thing can be said for Wonder Woman and Cheetah, because Cheetah, as we saw in the trailer, was kind of putting on the show of, you know, Wonder Woman's perfect. She's beautiful. She has all these powers. She's a god. Like, you know, I can never be her, and therefore I resent her for it. So I think that kind of parallel was cool to see.
I do see this. I do get the fact that there is this duality between the two.
Right.
And I do like the fact that they are going to be friends, and that friendship sort of being kind of overwhelmed by Cheetah's desire to be that top predator, to really take control of her own life and kind of the life around her. I do feel though, like, I'm not the biggest fan of the suit. Like, I honestly think that they were making this, and then the movie Cats came out, and they were like, oh no.
I can
we did exactly the same thing.
I can see where you think that, because I definitely did see, like, there was a sort of familiarity, I guess, with like seeing Cats and seeing Cheetah's costume. So I think, but also I think now that Cats has come out, I think there's always going to be that comparison that's going to be drawn. So
because all these movies these days are having live action human cats, you know, just every movie has them, you know. Everything had live action human cats. Like, not a movie in Hollywood this day does not have live action. Like, CGI abominations there.
But yeah, so actually, and you know, in terms of the segment that they had as well, I liked how the full cast was able to sit down. I think this was one of the only panels that actually had every cast member sit down and answer some questions, whereas a lot of the other ones, like Snyder Cut, Suicide Squad, even, like, it was mainly just the directors who were talking about it, which again just gives a different insight. But I liked how it was more sit down and everyone kind of had a say in what was going on. And of course the fans that came on were absolutely adorable. They were such, like, they were fangirling over everything, and they were so happy to be there, and it was so great to see.
Yeah, I do really enjoy their fan interaction with this. I think they really nailed that. And the fact that, like, it's sort of wish fulfillment. It's like, oh yeah, we get to, like, tweet in questions, and, you know, some of the tweets being read out, and we're gonna get. Because think, when a trailer usually drops, it's just us on Reddit feeds speculating about this alone. But imagine having a trailer dropped and your immediate questions being answered by the actual director of this movie, by the cast of this movie. Like, it's that sense of connection, which I find really interesting, which I think kind of hyped up these trailers a lot more if they just would have been released separately. Because even with, like, a Spider-Man Far From Home trailer, like, you get, like, the first little buzz of, like, oh my god, social media hype, Spider-Man trailer, but then after that, it's not really talked about. But imagine if, you know, they had Tom Holland and the director come out and actually, like, talk about the movie a bit more. You know, you had Jake Gyllenhaal, the man himself, the God's gift from Earth, Jake Gyllenhaal, come down and tell us what the movie's about. You know?
Yeah, no, I completely agree on that. And also having seeing Linda Carter talk with Patty and talk with Gal, and just that, like, mutual admiration for each other's works, I think was so amazing to see in the industry. Like, those are the kinds of stories that you want to see shown more in Hollywood, like that kind of respective work.
It's always fun seeing how, like, people collaborate and it's not all about, like, the bottom line or it's about making the best thing and respecting what other creators, you know, tend to make. You know?
And then also, I think the marketing for this film
I've been obsessed with the marketing from day one.
80s.
Amazing. That one poster with the Golden Eagle suit, and the 80s retro rainbow, like I was in awe of this poster.
I just love the whole 80s vibe of this whole movie. I love how they're going to the 80s. I think it's a really good setting for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, Depeche Mode, it's great. Not Depeche Mode, Blue Monday, yes. Depeche Mode is the band. But what I think is really interesting is the fact of how they're going to bring Chris Pine back. Basically, this is my first hot, quick theory of the day. Basically, in a previous trailer, we had Pedro Pascal's character, I think it's Maxwell Lord, he's playing, basically like the snarky business dude. He takes out a black crystal from a box, and I forget the actual comic book name, I probably should have wrote this down. Basically, this crystal has kind of been confirmed by this new trailer that the crystal has the power to grant wishes or one's deepest desire. In the case of Diana, to get her one true love, Steve, back, who died in a plane crash and crashed into some ice. It's not Captain America, it's the other Steve. But and also for Cheetah, they give her the ability to be that top predator, to be that really primal thing. So I think it's interesting that they're going to bring it back, and of course how Steve's going to be playing the kind of new to this world, switching the kind of dynamic they had in the first one.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
He's like, what are parachute pants? What's a fanny pack, guys? Is this trash art?
Fanny pack.
Yeah, that's my Steve impression.
Actually, I really like that theory. I didn't even pay enough attention to those kind of details, so I think that's actually really cool. And I think if that is true in whatever sense it may be, then maybe that concept of like taking that back, like you can't, everything comes with a price.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe towards the end something like that happens too. So very good theory to start us off, I will say.
I'm also very intrigued about Maxwell Lord's character. Like they kind of put him in the trailers, but they kind of kept him a mystery. Like he's there, but we don't really know like what he is actually capable of.
Yeah, like I definitely feel like it's kept a lot of stuff under wraps.
Yeah.
Two things though. Invisible Jet, I feel like if they're gonna do it, because they're being so I love that they're integrating all of her weapons. First Wonder Woman and in Justice League, it's just been sword and shield, but she has like the boomerang tiara, she has the lasso deflecting bullets.
Yeah.
It's awesome. She's swinging from lightning for some reason. It looks sick.
Well, she did that in the original comics. Like that was one of her. I think that was one of the. I was reading somewhere that was one of her most like undermined powers. Like it only happened a couple.
Power
times.
to swing from lightning. Yes.
Yeah. It was a rare thing for her to do, I guess, or like to be appeared in those comics. So I very much appreciate that is.
The real question is, can she summon lightning to swing from, or does she have to do like an Amazonian rain dance to call the lightning and then swing from it, or does she just like look at the weather forecast for that day and then just be like, okay, it's raining on Tuesday and Wednesday, I can fight crime on those days, get to Metropolis, get back on Wednesday.
She is technically like the daughter of Zeus, so maybe that's
exactly maybe like, hey Dad, can I get some lightning down here, and then just sends down the lightning for her.
Yeah,
that's exactly how she needs to do it.
Exactly.
But yeah, overall that panel I was very satisfied with. I think it was very strong for the first major panel for DC fandom.
Started off,
and starting us off good. And obviously we love female empowerment, female-led films, directed, starring. It's fantastic to see. So good on them. Okay, so the next major panel we're going to talk about is the Suicide Squad. What a turnaround, can I just say, from the first film. I am so happy James Gunn is the one who's at the helm of this project. You can just tell from that behind the scenes montage they did, from the way he was even just describing the film, the cast members' takes on things, like, you know it's going to be good.
Also, like, he shaded Marvel so hard. He's like,
he really did.
I had a fun time on this one, more than I ever did on anything else. So.
This is my best movie ever. Yeah. Like, the movies before it, they suck compared to this.
I know. I was like, wow, James, really taking the side.
Exactly. I mean, it did seem like a really fun movie to film.
Oh, yeah.
Well, to be fair, this movie came about him doing this because he was fired from Guardians 3.
Yeah.
They were going to do that, and then the James Gunn with his Twitter postings and stuff
controversy
happened, and then DC picked him up because they saw his like unbeknown talent. You're like, hey, want to fix this property that everyone hates currently?
Yeah. And I know there was going to be that whole thing with David Ayer, who's, I guess, trying to pull a Snyder cut. I get, like, you know, on Twitter.
Like, yeah, my Suicide cut of...
Yeah. But I think that in this film, like, I truly just didn't think it was meant to be.
Yeah.
I think I 100% have faith in James Gunn and his vision for this project. You can just, like, even from the fact of, like, oh my God, we don't have to sexualize Harley Quinn. Like, what a concept. She looks fantastic in the red and black.
I love the red and black.
Amazing. Yeah. I was so happy to see her in that.
I definitely feel like the movie Birds of Prey, or Harley Quinn, the Fabulous Emancipation of Birds of Prey. That weird title that...
I'm very impressed you got that far.
It's Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. Got it. I'm awesome. I actually really like that movie. That might be my favorite DC movie.
I really like
the time stuff weird.
I have mixed emotions about that film. I'm gonna be honest, but
it was so entertaining.
I loved Harley. I think Margot was born to play Harley.
Mm-hmm.
I think that overall, personally, I thought it was good. I didn't think it was amazing, but I thought that Cassandra Cain should have been removed from that movie because I'm sorry, the actress who played Cassandra Cain cannot act. Wow. I'm sorry, I had to say it. I
love their little buddy friendship though. They're like, oh hey,
actually,
I'll teach her to be
but like the thing
was friendship.
It was cute between the characters, but like she was playing opposite of Margot Robbie, who is one of the most seasoned actresses in Hollywood, who could get Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, David Fincher, like any director that she wants in a heartbeat. And she's playing opposite of this actress.
Yeah, this 12-year-old girl with a broken
I really just like it almost
us.
affected my viewing experience. And I hate to say that because I know like she must have been trying her best and you know whatever it may be. I genuinely did not like her in that film. But otherwise, as a whole, it was good.
No, but the rest of the cast in that's really good. You have Mary Elizabeth Winstead of Gemini fame. I almost said Jimmy Me Man. It's an inside joke because
Gemini. We're
Jimmy
not
Me
going to talk
Man,
about
as I like to call it. Will Smith movie. That's also a great movie. But she's in Sky High, my all-time favorite superhero movie.
Oh, I've actually never seen Sky High.
It is great. It has the Sky High's great. Sky High, best movie ever. But no, it also has Ian McGregor of Obi-Wan. So I definitely feel like his portrayal of Black Mask is an interesting one. Even though that one scene that was shoehorned just to make him seem a bit more evil is
I thought he was like genuinely like a scary guy in the movie.
It's like, hey, cut this face off. And also the first on-screen appearance of Zaz. I really I like this movie. I feel like if they just told the movie in like less of a Deadpool way and just like in chronological order.
I definitely think that was probably one of the issues that I had with it. I think they were trying to mimic too much that like Deadpool vibe.
Yeah, Deadpool. They were really trying to do Deadpool but in DC.
But I really loved the action sequences.
Action was so good in this. They had all the soundtrack. They had Black Betty playing as she's like escaping like from the criminal thing, and she gets high on cocaine. It's great,
Yeah.
And the egg sandwich.
The egg sandwich. That's literally I was dying when I saw that.
I remember I texted you, Amber, and I was like, I want an egg sandwich so bad after this movie.
Exactly. I literally went downstairs. I got my, grilled cheese griller, made a nice, beautiful, grilled cheese egg sandwich. I was like, oh, I love that joke so much.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, well, we're getting too much of Birds of Prey. We're gonna leave that there. But anyways, back to Suicide Squad. I loved the panel. I loved the whatever shots. We are getting a way more wide variety of characters in this film.
Yes, a lot of characters.
It's tons of characters.
So many characters.
And the characters just seem like so fun.
I think too. I think that's what maybe David Ayer wasn't hitting properly. Like I think he was obviously, maybe that was like what he was saying, maybe it's exec pressure or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
He was trying to make it too like it was like a mix of, he was trying to make it dark, but then he was also trying to make it like funny, and then it just kind of didn't work.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is Katana. Her sword will kill you, so don't get hit by her sword, or it will kill you. She's Katana. This is her origin story. She's Katana. This is the character introduction. She's Katana.
I really wanted to see more of Katana though, because she did seem like a very cool character.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna have a martial arts swordsman, show off the martial arts swordsman. Have Deadshot do trick shots. He did one trick shot, and it wasn't even a trick shot.
Yes, overall, that film I did not. I thought was a hit and miss, and I think that James has finally nailed not only the like nuances and the tone of this film, but just in general, I think that he's really gonna be able to highlight these characters and bring them into the universe properly and like formally introduce them and that kind of thing.
Guys,
So
I just want to like mention that there's a countdown happening for some reason.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Anyway, before we're gonna take a quick break soon, but basically, there's a few characters I want to just highlight and just like characters I really love. I probably Google the actor's name. But the guy playing Polka Dot Man, he's in Ant-Man and he's in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
I think that's gonna be amazing. Like, I love the minor DC, like it's like you got your Calendar Mans, you got your Polka Dot Mans, you got your minor DC Lego Batman villains who are just amazing because they're just crazy. They're just super whack.
Yeah.
I grew up like my Batman as a child was like the animated series and all the cartoons, which had all these like
that was everyone's,
Music Meister, like honestly, like all these things. So I'm so glad they're picking from this. And I just want to see what if James Gunn can make a talking tree who says 3 words. One of my favorite characters in the MCU. What can you do with a giant rat?
And
like I'm ready for this. And I saw that weasel and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be awesome.
Also, King Shark. This seems like amazing.
King Shark is already my spirit animal, and I have no idea what his role is. I saw him, and I'm like, I relate to you so much. I mean, every character, I think they pretty much nailed character design. I think they really, and I liked how they introduced it. They kind of gave a little, I guess, in the way that they did the trailer for all the characters, they kind of gave a little bit more backstory to the comics. Like showing the original character in the comics and then showing the character who's playing it, or like the real live action version of them, because I think that provided a connection that was missing from the first one.
Yeah, it's like, okay, it's like, why are all these guys in black trench coats?
Like I want to see.
Like, actually
I think it brings more of a lively sense to the film, having that connection being established. And can we also just talk about that game? I felt so bad for Pete Davidson the entire time. He was like the game right after when they all played, because I don't know if you saw it, but basically all the cast members, they were playing this trivia game based on trivia questions from Suicide Squad.
Oh no!
Everyone, there's so many cast members, so many characters, and so they were picking teams. First of all, Pete Davidson was the last person to be picked because they forgot he was there. No one asked him any questions, and when he did answer questions, he was just like, okay. And then like everyone else was kind of having a good time, and then Margot mentioned it one time, and then it was over. And I felt so.
Yeah. See, like, this has to be pre-recorded, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It is.
Like, you could definitely just edit him out. Or like, because I feel like this, like the sections probably went on for a lot longer than needed to, and then they just like edited it all down. So maybe like Pete Davidson came in clutch at the last moment and answered every single question right and was like the best person ever. But then kind of for time reasons.
But yeah, overall, I think again that panel success restored my faith in the Suicide Squad franchise.
Also, I just want to mention that James Gunn said there's going to be more explosions than any of the Avengers movies, which is
you saw the behind the scenes teaser. Every 2 seconds be like explosions.
It just seems so
amazing
cool.
sound effects.
So I
definitely feel like there's gonna be a lot of death in this movie, with a cast of like so many, like that intro when they're like showing the comics and then the real actor in the costume. I was like, okay, is it over now? Like, it's so long. It's gonna be like 2 helicopters. It's like, okay, John Cena, Margot Robbie, all you important people, Polka Dot Man, Weasel, you getting this one, all the lesser known ones, you get in this one, that helicopter blows up instantly.
Yeah.
You like have half the cast.
I know that James was posting on Twitter the like portraits of all the characters, and I think he did like 6 parts on his Twitter thread, and I was like,
because he needed so many.
Like, what? Part 1, part 2, part 3.
Yeah.
It was
like
great.
It's gonna be like the Snyder Cut, 4 parts, each one 2 billion years long.
They're gonna need 2 movies just to introduce every character in that film.
No, but you guys any other thoughts on the Suicide Squad? I love it's the Suicide Squad, the Batman. It's very pronounced, you know.
They're differentiating them.
I'm excited to see, like the full trailer, like how it actually looks finalized.
Yeah. I definitely feel like the fact that it's like, oh, this like all they are saying that this is gonna be the best movie ever. Nothing like this. It's a bit kind of like, okay, they said that about Gemini Man, or Gemini Man as it is more widely known. And honestly, like Gemini Man was not that good.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I say we take a quick break and then we'll get right into it. Okay.
Cool. Awesome. So yeah, you guys won't notice it, but we'll be right back.
So what's the next bit of news we have here?
Okay, so now we're gonna move and venture towards the video game side of things, because those are just as important as the films.
Yes.
We got the release of 2 new secret projects that Warner Brothers and DC were working on. One was Gotham Knights, which looked fantastic, and the other one was the Suicide Squad game as well. So we'll talk briefly a little bit about what we thought of those.
Yeah. So of course the most popular DC video game series would have to be either Injustice or Batman, the Arkham games. But it's actually quite funny because the Arkham games end, spoiler, with Batman dying, kind of quote unquote. And it seems, and this is actually funny because the Batman game where the Gotham Knights, where Batman actually dies, is not a sequel to that. But the Suicide Squad game is a direct sequel to the Arkham games.
Right, so it's like
in the same universe. The Gotham Knights game is in a separate universe of its own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think might be contributed to the Owl clan or Owl, I forgot what it's called.
Court of Owls.
Court of Owls, thank you. Being responsible for the death of Bruce. Maybe he's going to come back in some sort of assassin-like way.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that they used the whole Bat family. Like, I'm a huge fan. So, yeah, I was like freaking out over that.
Mm-hmm. So who's your favorite member of the Bat family? Do you have a special soft spot for someone?
Nightwing.
Yeah, same. I'm a big Dick Grayson fan.
Yeah.
So am I. I'm a big Robin guy. Yeah. Really.
Adam West Batman, he's the best part of that show. Just having like a 20-year-old run around in green underwear next to like a plump,
like really
old man. It's great.
Really tight suit. Like,
really tight. Yeah.
Did not need to be that.
It's like
small.
Yeah, just Batman and Robin flying in the Batcopter over the city, just like a rooftop of people doing in bikinis doing anaerobics. Robin just waving at them coyly. Batman's being like, "What the heck is this kid doing?" Batman in the movie, watch it. It's great. Batman the live action movie, it is amazing. First ever Batman live action movie.
But yeah, no, I think it will they did not announce that they were going to release any of these. I don't think. I think it was a surprise from DC and Warner Brothers.
They actually posted these like cryptic teasers that no one really knew what was happening.
It's like, hey, we got a secret new project and no one knows what it is.
Yeah.
Batman.
But yeah, I mean, I loved it. I remember we were trying to take like screenshots as it was happening to get some stills for our account, and there's so many different stills that I could have gotten because there were so many, like the graphics were fantastic when the characters would come on and they had that like silhouette of their
I was aggressively texting you about how excited I was about it.
Yeah, I know, I remember. But yeah, no, both of the games looked amazing, and I think that's really gonna help add to DC's roster of merchandise and of content.
Yeah, and villains and stuff. But I think it's very interesting the fact of this. Okay, I'm not a huge multiplayer gamer, but this game, and I believe the Suicide game, is following the same suit as the new Marvel game, Marvel's Avengers, and it's kind of single-player driven story, but also it is 4-player multiplayer. So basically, you're gonna be able to play as each individual member of the Bat family or the Suicide Squad as you go across your missions. And I feel like from a gameplay standpoint, this is actually in the right direction, giving the diversity of gameplay for each specific character. If you're an up-close personal, play Red Hood. You have 2 guns, you shoot everyone. I guess Batman kills in this universe. But if you just want to, teleport using the Justice League satellites and turn invisible, you can be Tim Drake Robin.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, is it Tim Drake or Damian Wayne?
We don't know, actually. No one really knows if it's Tim Drake or Damian.
Yeah, because you have Barbara Gordon.
Yeah.
You have, Dick. And then you have Red Hood, but no one knows if it's. I think it might be Tim.
Yeah, I think it's Tim Drake.
Yeah. But it's very exciting.
All will be revealed in time.
Yeah,
very exciting.
But yeah,
for the Suicide Squad game, though, what are your thoughts on that, guys?
It looks very interesting, very entertaining too, because you're gonna be playing as the Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
so,
I definitely feel like we don't need another Brainiac invasion.
Yeah.
I feel like in every game it's like, oh no, Brainiac invaded again. Giant skull thing in
there's
the.
so many other people they could tap into.
But no, it's always Brainiac.
No, but I think it's really interesting is that the game is not just a regular Suicide game. It's Suicide kills the Justice League. So they're
right.
In the original movie, it's like, what if Superman turned evil, and what would the government do? Why does everyone think Superman's evil? It's Superman.
They always want to make Superman evil for some reason.
Exactly. Just like, can't Superman just smile, look at the camera as he flies off into space? The good old days.
That's all we need.
Yeah. Can't Superman just like walk into a bus and then just like be a small farm boy? And,
farm boy.
Yeah, a small farm boy. But I think it's gonna be very interesting how, like, pitting them against members of Justice League. I feel like we are going to see some sort of Batman, even though it's in the Arkhamverse. They're going to like bring him back, and kind of like as a big point of contention. I do think though it's like Brainiac's maybe mind controlling Superman and Justice League, and that's why they're sending him to kill him.
Yeah.
But I do feel like that game has a lot of hype. I'm probably more excited for that one over the other because of course you got King Shark, Captain Boomerang, amazing Australian accent by the way. I love the play that like. Australians don't actually sound like that, but I love when they play out an accent like that.
They just go really into
Crikey, mates, we got some king sharks around here. Yeah. See, I'm not allowed to do accents on my podcast, RobCast podcast, because I'm horrible at them. But here, there's no rules.
You can do it for us. It's okay if it's
exactly. Yeah, we'll just laugh at you. Exactly.
It's totally fine.
No, but you guys have any other thoughts about this game?
Honestly, I think you guys said it all. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. They're heading in the right direction in terms of gameplay, and again, adding to the DC roster. They're really trying to get more content out there to kind of be a little bit more competitive in all aspects with Marvel, not just with merchandising, not just with films, but with video games as well. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I thought these two games looked way more interesting than the Avengers game, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like the Avengers game didn't really get me as hyped as these two did.
Yeah, because I feel like these two are like a bit more of the stories you don't see. Like we've seen so many Avengers movies at this point.
Yeah.
We want to see the characters that we don't see. We want to see the Bat family. We want to see King Shark with a giant Gatling gun mowing down people.
Yeah.
We want to see Destro with a jetpack that turns into a flamethrower.
Exactly.
This is the stuff we came to see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So I think that about wraps up our little mini discussion on the video games.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're going to be moving into this was one of the best parts of DC fandom for me, which was the Snyder Cut.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Yeah, I did in fact cry.
100%.
There is evidence of this that I did in fact bawl for.
I
was tearing up as well. I teared as well.
It just I think
joy.
It's not even just that it's, first of all, it's happening. Like this, it's finally happening. But I think just what the entire story of bringing the Snyder Cut to life represents, and just that, like to have to leave such a big project for something as like disheartening as a suicide in your family and like your own daughter, that's like incredibly saddening. And I can't even imagine what Zach and his wife and his family must have gone through. And, to because of that, never have your true vision for the film come to life. It's something that is completely taken out of your own context and put out under someone else's viewpoint, which sucks because you see it and you see the reaction to it and you can't do anything about it because even though you know what you've done, no one's seen it.
I definitely feel like Zack Snyder in a whole gets more flack for what he's done for the DCU. Like, for instance, Batman vs. Superman. Like, have you guys seen the extended cut of that movie?
So, I really like the extended cut.
I did not like the regular cut of it. I was annoyed with the regular cut of it, but I need to watch the extended cut because I've heard it's much better.
Yeah, because basically it's the same case here. It's Zach's original vision of the film. You know, we see more of Lois, you know, finding the bullet and chasing that plot line. In the beginning, one thing that really bothered me is that they just shoot everyone and then they blame the kills on Superman. But in the extended cut, they take flamethrowers and they burn it like his laser vision would, or however that works in these movies because it's really undefined. But I do feel like a lot of this hate started in Batman vs Superman, and then I love how, you know, kind of as a group, these fans have come together and been able to push for this movie, push for this vision. Because I feel like over time, Batman vs Superman will be remembered for Martha, but it will also be remembered for, you know, great fight scene. Zack Snyder is so cinematic in his shots. I love everything he directs. Absolutely. Everything is ripped from the page of a comic book.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, and I'm so excited for this new.
It's so amazing. Again, it was like it was a global movement of fans pushing for this, like holding events, holding fundraisers, and I think
so much scams being like, we're making our own Snyder cut. You know, give us. Snyder cut. I've run about 5 of those scams. I can make my own movie at this point.
But yeah, and even seeing Zach interact and talk a little bit with some of the fans who are at the forefront of the Snyder Cut movement and trying to get this put to the screen, just seeing like he was cheering up. You could see how like grateful and appreciative he was for all these people to you know fight so hard for his work. Exactly. And then the fact that the entire cast came together, people from outside of the DC universe, like Matt Reeves, Patty Jenkins, like all these DC alums came together to support Zach and to try and make sure that his work was put out for everyone to see. And it's happening, and it's here. We got our first sneak peek, and it looked amazing.
It looked perfect, honestly. Like every frame just spoke Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that in this case it's a very, like, I don't think you can do this for a lot of movies, because in this case, you know, Zach of course left by choice a lot halfway through the filming, and he had a lot of the stuff that he was going to film already done, and then they brought in Joss Whedon of Avengers fame and, you know, had him reshoot most of it. So I definitely feel like this can't really be done, because in this case he had already shot most of the movie, and of course Ben Affleck, he had some personal issues in between the reshoots and stuff, so his performance was kind of hindered to a sense, like he was kind of like phoning it in due to that. And I'm very excited. Let's actually talk about the nitty-gritty of the trailer for a bit though. I've a few points I want to get to. I feel like Cyborg is going to play a big role in this movie, as Zack Snyder did mention. What were you guys' interpretations of Cyborg in the original Justice League, and just like the Justice League entirely?
He didn't felt like the sidekick to the group. Like he didn't even, to me, and I think that's one thing that we're going to see in this film and that Snyder wanted to touch upon, those character moments. Like having those character moments, it's so important in these films. It brings more humanity to these kinds of films and depth to like comic book films. And that was completely disregarded basically in Justice League. Exactly. And Cyborg, to me, frankly, if he was there, if he wasn't there, I don't think it even would have made a difference in the way that it was viewed. And that's a problem.
Well, no. But who would have dug out Superman's grave? You know, who would have took a shovel and dug the grave of Superman?
The most important part of the film.
Yeah, who would be a grave robber? Who would rob graves? I don't get that.
Right. But yeah, no, like I was very unimpressed. That was one thing I was very unimpressed with, was his part in the movie, which again shouldn't have been the case, because even in the comics, in the regular Justice League, he plays a big role, and I think we're going to finally see that in this film.
And
go ahead.
Yeah, I just love how Zach has been praising the actor's performance from day one. Like he's just been saying how amazing he is, and now we're finally going to see that translate onto screen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely feel like, especially with the football stuff, because in the original trailer, like it was so like I love Cyborg's origin because it's one of pain, it's one of suffering. Like having like a very promising life, having a job in like the NFL, fulfilling a dream, and then it's the story of someone who's been through it, like debilitating injury or something, and making the best of what life gives you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, even if it is through saving the world,
Right.
But I definitely feel like a lot of the minor stuff that I just put off Justice League is going to be kind of fixed in this cut, such as the color grading and the
Yes, yeah.
It's not going to be like just crimson, red, and death the entire time.
Yeah, really. Oh my God. And I think it was just, we didn't get, again, like I think it ties back to the whole character moment thing. We didn't get to see, it didn't feel like a cohesive group.
Yes.
It didn't feel like a cohesive group in the sense that we didn't get different parts making the group better. It felt like a blob of people. Yeah. But every single person brought something different to the table, had a different experience. And even in the trailer for Snyder Cut, we saw that. We didn't see that at all in the Whedon.
Yeah, like the Snyder Cut trailer just seemed like a completely different film.
Yeah, it really did.
So
it is, and we're gonna finally get it. But I have another hot, quick theory here. Revolving the Flash. We do see one shot of the Flash in kind of what some people dub the Speed Force. It's kind of this, you know, weird electric zone between nothingness and everything else. I do believe that we're gonna finally be fulfilled on the promise of like kind of the mystery box of the nightmare sequence in BVS and the Flash going back to tell Lois is the key and all that stuff.
Right.
By either Flash going to the dystopian future and seeing the ruins of the Justice League building and all the artifacts and stuff and seeing what it has become and then going back. It's like, have you guys seen Umbrella Academy?
Yeah.
I have not actually. I actually just started the first episode a couple of days
ago. I finished season 2 like a week ago.
Yeah, it's so good, but minus spoiler, so cover your ears. In the first season, one of the characters, Klaus, he time travels and he goes to war in the past, and then he comes back knowing all this new knowledge. I think that's gonna happen with Barry. I think he's gonna accidentally time travel, and then go back to the present day. And, you know, that's why he's in rags and he has like a little scruff of a beard and be like, I need to go back in time and tell Bruce that Lois is the key. And he goes all the way back to BVS. Because I think that really could be a kind of fascinating way of developing his character more than just like, hey, I'm the Flash.
That's a very
brunch. You know, like is it breakfast? Is like what the heck is brunch? I don't get brunch. I feel like that would be like a really interesting way.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Yeah. I can see how that would actually kind of play out within the 4-hour cut he was trying to
exactly and that would work really well with the Flash movie we're gonna get where he's gonna be halting multiverses, saying hi to Keaton and everything.
Which we are gonna get at one point in time 3 different Batmans at one time.
Yeah, it's gonna
be we're gonna get excited. I'm okay with 10 Batman, honestly.
Yes.
But this is amazing. So we're getting Batfleck in Snyder Cut. We're getting Keaton. We're getting Pattinson in the Batman, which we're super excited to talk about that. And we are also getting Keaton in the Flash, which is amazing.
Then we also have Batman and Batgirl, and then Little Batman and Joker. And there's so many versions of Batman at this point. There's too many. But that's why I'm glad he's dead in this new game, because we're finally getting to see other people.
Also, I have a question.
Sure.
How do you guys feel about the dark side look?
I like it.
I like it a lot.
I like it. I like the villain look. Like even Steppenwolf, he looks like such a weakling. Like, dude, go to the gym, get ripped, and then come do Justice League. Like, I think he just looks bigger, you know?
Yeah, I think they needed to do that kind of
and the spikes add so much more.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I completely agree with that point.
Yeah. I did think that the other villain, though, I forget his name, but he looked like one of the henchmen of Thanos from Avengers Infinity War.
Yeah.
I'm like, did I watch the wrong? Did I click like the next trailer or something? But it's gonna be like his like right hand man of Doomsday, and I don't think we're gonna be seeing much Doomsday though. I think the scene we did see was a flashback, and mostly will be Steppenwolf and these other people, like kind of the opening of Infinity, just like Ebony Maw comes down to collect the mother boxes, and
right. So that's super exciting. Again, Snyder Cut's gonna come to HBO Max
Yes,
2021.
HBO Max. Subscribe now.
HBO Max.
It's at HBOBax.com, HBO Bax on Twitter and Instagram. HBO Bax.
So he's gonna release it in 4 episodes that are gonna be
1 hour long.
an hour long, and then he also mentioned maybe kind of putting them together for one synchronous film potentially. And
also,
go
I
ahead.
heard that he wants to do like after the show, he wants to do like a full black and white version, which is really interesting.
Black and
That
white.
actually could be really
Nice.
cool.
Putting it through an Instagram filter. Okay, only if we get a filter of Superman. Every shot of Superman, he needs to have an Instagram mustache. Like one of the face like they need to CGI put on a mustache on his face, and then give him the mullet. Give him the mullet. Give him the beard. It's not too late.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Hashtag release the beard cut.
You released the beard cut. I love
Release
that.
the beard
That better
cut.
be trending by the end of this episode.
Exactly. We're gonna make it trending. We're gonna change Hollywood. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think it's definitely something that people were anticipating coming to DC fandom. They got what they wanted, and we won in that aspect. Like, we're getting the Snyder Cut. It's happening. So cannot wait to see that. I think that's going to be amazing.
Exactly. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord.
So next up, then we're going to talk about Black Adam.
Yes.
So for Black Adam, they haven't filmed anything yet. What we did get is a sort of background story,
like animatic
teaser. By Jim Lee and Boss Logic, Boss Logic, if you haven't heard of him, check him out on Instagram and Twitter. He is an amazing graphic designer who's actually being commissioned now by Marvel and by DC to make professional art pieces and designs for them. Nice. I've been following him since 2016 maybe, and
so you're an original fan, huh?
I'm an OG fan. I am so proud of this guy and all he's done
from day one, and I just love the progression.
And it's so cool to see that he's being commissioned, like, from making fan art to making an actual teaser trailer for DC fandom for The Rock, for with Jim Lee.
Exactly.
Like that, like, it doesn't get better than that.
Jim Lee.
Right. Like, literally, like, chief creative officer of DC, comic book artist icon. Like, it's amazing. So, and I think he did a phenomenal job. I really do.
Yeah. Like, I actually really like this. Like, I feel like if they didn't have anything filmed, like even though it's just like Rock in his basement, you know, in his closet with a little microphone,
doing
like,
whatever
his dress shirts all over his head, to being like, this movie will be the best movie ever, and I'm The Rock. And
you know, it was better.
Adam.
They made the best of what they could do, and I think that, it's definitely like an amazing thing for us to see that at least there's something happening, and it introduces the character.
Exactly.
That's the most important thing.
Exactly, because Black Adam isn't, like, with Shazam even, they're not the most well-known characters. Like, I feel though that this movie's gonna be really big, and by the end of it, Black Adam's gonna be a household name. Casting someone as big as The Rock, he's like one of the biggest A-listers in the game right now. And it seems just with age only gets more and more popular.
And I think this definitely kind of this whole universe and this type of character fits him. He's an action film actor.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what he thrives best in. I think that
flex his muscles.
Yeah.
Right. I think he can definitely bring something new to the table for DC. And I mean, he's like, I think he's really gonna embrace the character. And if they do it right, I think it can be really good.
And to be honest, though, like, when you have The Rock in anything, you're gonna get a lot of money because that's what The Rock does.
It's The Rock. He's the giant pole. Yeah.
Right. He next thing you know, he's gonna be executive producing and at the helm of it, like, and other DC films. Like, that's just how it's gonna go.
Plot-wise, though, I think this looks very interesting. Like, it follows the basic Black Adam origin of him being granted the powers of Shazam and kind of his descent into his madness, and kind of him not really seeing with great powers come great responsibility, and the fact that he needs to control the powers. He can do whatever he means necessary to free his people, and then him being put away for life for it. And I definitely think this is going to be Shazam 2 is going to kind of follow it, with the fact that the original Shazam dies, freeing him, like, for the second movie. But in the original, this is set prior to Shazam, and it's going to incorporate the Justice Society of America.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them.
Old JSA recently been featured in the Stargirl television series, I believe we have what was it? I think not Dr. Midnight.
Doctor
I have it right here. Just give me a second.
Doctor
We have Dr. Fate, Cyclone, Atom Smasher will all appear in Black Adam and Hawkman.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good roster, you know.
Also, I have a theory that
quick theory here.
Yeah, you know how they introduced the Justice League Dark series that's coming to HBO Max? I feel like Dr. Fate will have a connection to that because in the comics, Dr. Fate has a big connection to Constantine.
Yes.
So I feel like that will introduce some ties into the Justice League Dark.
See, tell me if I'm wrong, but is it the Dr. Fate that I'm aware is the one in the Young Justice cartoon? Does this follow his basic origin? It's basically kind of similar to not Green Lantern, but like it's like a helmet that bestows the wearer with power, but it's like a symbiote, like Venom, and the fact that it takes over you.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I know, but it's very exciting. I'm excited for Atom Smasher, who actually appeared in the Flash television series for an episode.
Yeah.
And it was like Atom Smasher's here. Yeah, it's awesome.
How do you feel about the casting of Atom Smasher?
Who was he cast?
Noah Centineo.
Oh, okay. Let me just stall for a minute as I Google this. Centineo and spell it wrong. Oh, is this the oh,
yeah,
this is that dude.
This bad guy, yeah.
The Netflix teen drama zone, no one Senti, I already messed it up, but that dude, yeah. From that one movie, the only movie I've seen him in is the movie where he basically creates an app where he goes on dates with girls and they pay him for it.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I didn't actually see the film, but I know which one you're talking about.
I watched like 5 minutes of it. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Yeah,
this is amazing.
Netflix originals are a lot like that.
Yeah, it's no Tall Girl. It's no masterpiece like Tall Girl, but it was pretty good. No, but I feel like it might be just voice only because I don't know how much they will actually incorporate into the role. The Rock did allude to the fact that it's like the Justice Society wants him to either like kind of stop his murderous reign or kind of, join with them to be the next League of Heroes and fight evil. And he's just like, nah, I'm good. You guys suck. I can do this by myself. I feel like it's gonna be interesting. Like I don't want to put a damper on him, but I'm gonna wait till we see some sort of trailer before I judge.
But I think The Rock looks great in the whole costume.
Yeah.
He looks
with the art and everything. Oh.
Yeah.
He looks great.
Do you guys think they're gonna like de-muscle The Rock a bit when he's just like a normal slave, and then they're just gonna like have The Rock be normal when he's like
they actually might do that.
Yeah, like Christopher, like Captain America style, make him like a little twig when he's a slave, and then as soon as he black out, him just a regular Rock just coming in, biceps on top of biceps on top of biceps.
Yeah,
it's exciting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you guys don't have anything else to say about this, what's the next piece of news?
So next up, we are going to talk about the Batman. I have a lot of thoughts about this. I was
you guys want to talk about
very pleased
briefly before we.
Sure. We can touch a little bit of Flash.
Yes. We got a few concept art images, which I think were very interesting.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts on the new suit?
I actually like the whole thing that they mentioned about Bruce Wayne building the suit for him.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool because it's like I can imagine it would be really high tech.
Like have all of the hologram. Like they have an episode in the Flash TV series where it's like he gets a tech heavy suit and it's like this will help you if you ever get unconscious on water, and he like blows him to a giant ball. Like just classic hijinks, But I definitely feel like the design is very kind of alien. It's very slick and silver. The original Flash suit that he wears in Justice League, like I'm actually a fan of it. I like kind of the armor built up thing. Like it seems like it seems like he just took a ton of like sports armor, put together, spray painted it red, and just like it's been a work in progress for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But what are you guys' kind of thoughts of bringing back Michael Keaton as Batman?
I was very surprised.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited. I was just surprised that Keaton even agreed to this, frankly.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, I didn't think he would, but I'm very happy he did. I think he himself was an amazing Batman. He's a phenomenal actor. And I think taking on, I guess, like a Tony Stark, Nick Fury kind of role, I don't want to compare it to Marvel, but if you had to.
Yeah.
To kind of do that for the Flash, I think is going to be very interesting to see. And I think it's going to put the Flash in a different light as in the DC universe, I guess. in that
And
way.
we're getting Ben Affleck in the Flash movie.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, he's finally coming back. He said he wasn't coming back, but he's coming back.
He decided to do it. He did it.
Bats is back.
Yeah.
I think
No,
we could always use a little bit more Batfleck.
Yeah, exactly. I do feel though that it's gonna like if my theory of Justice League is gonna be right, it's gonna be of course taking the one storyline which they always do with the Flash, which we have seen about 1 million times in both anime movies, comics, TV shows, and that of course is the Flashpoint storyline where he goes back and saves his mom.
Yeah.
Now that because of the Snyder Cut, we will have a Iris West in the Flash universe, of course, because she was of course in that trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys hyped for this movie, or is it just like this is never going to happen? Because this movie has been speculated forever and it keeps getting pushed back in production. I think this is happening now.
Yeah.
What are you guys' thoughts? Like,
I think that it's happening now since we actually got a full announcement at DC FanDome.
Yeah.
I think
we got the same for Inhumans movie and for Marvel back in the day, but that didn't come for.
I mean, they still did a TV show.
Yeah. Did you guys see the new Inhumans TV show? I sure didn't. But I've heard things about Lockjaw and his amazing friends.
No, I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think at this point they have to release it. Like,
Yeah.
it's frankly more of a burden on DC, I think, than anyone. And I know it's obviously, if they're releasing it right now, it's probably going to be a financial risk. And they're probably going to experience quite a bit of loss. But I think at this point, it has to be done. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they could dig themselves out of trying to figure out another release date again.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like at this point, build your brand, DC. You're coming out strong with this. You want to compete with Marvel. You tried that right out of the gate. It didn't work. Justice League bombed. It failed. People didn't like it. You have a resurgence. You have a bit of media. You have the fans on your side now. Build a brand. Make movies that are crazy. Make your Black Adams, make your weird multiverse movies, make your Joker one-offs, make movies that no one at Marvel is even willing to make.
Yeah,
but not even thinking about yet.
Yeah.
Make your horror movies, make your detective movies, make whatever you want.
Honestly, what I loved about DC from the start is that they always their movies might not be the best, but they always think outside the box.
Exactly. Unless you're Aquaman, which is basically a pretty basic movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giant sea turtles that you can ride.
I feel like
man.
I just love Jason Momoa in the role, and I cannot wait for the second one. Because
I definitely think he's very good in this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think with that being said, we can go into a quick break. And then we're going to get right back into talking about our last panel, which is going to be the Batman, which again, as I've expressed, I have a lot of thoughts about, and I'm super excited
I've
for.
just been having so many thoughts about it.
So we're going to get a really good discussion in 2 seconds for you guys. So we will be right back.
So now we are going to talk about the Batman, which was the final panel at DC FanDome.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you guys think?
I was blown away, honestly.
I was like, I don't think there were any words. I gasped out loud multiple times.
Yeah.
I had to leave my room, go to another space in my house and gasp again just to take in what was happening.
Yeah, honestly.
It was amazing. I think that Matt Reeves, when he was discussing in the interview prior to them releasing the teaser, he spot on said exactly what we thought we saw. He was talking about how he was inspired by 70s noir crime drama. I'm a big oldie film buff, so I love those kinds of films. So, I mean, he was mentioning films like Taxi Driver, Chinatown. I even found a little Double Indemnity kind of thing happening there too.
You have hints of that.
Yeah. I think that is such an interesting way to go about the story. And I think Matt, being able to conceive that idea and bring it to the screen, he did a phenomenal job in that way.
But
it was just everything I saw, I was like, yeah, you literally said exactly what I thought I would need to see.
I do feel like this trailer does a lot of work to make Robert Pattinson, Team Wolf, Robert Pattinson, just everyone's favorite Robert Pattinson look like he can, make him look like he's Batman, make him look dark, make him look great, make him look like he can. And
he gets a really bad rep. He is an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Like Good Time, Lighthouse, like there's so many other films. Even Tenet he looks amazing in.
Yeah.
He's got a really interesting way of going about his roles that I admire so much, that I think a lot of people don't understand and don't realize because of Twilight. And he kind of got that rep as that, that one sole character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely feel like he did.
I am so happy the directors and filmmakers are finally giving him the opportunity to show how much talent he actually has.
Yeah.
And this is a perfect way of doing that.
Also, I just love the whole dark vibe of this trailer. Like, we can tell that it's going to be a very corrupted sort of Gotham City. We're going to see a lot of the detective side of Batman, which we haven't really got in the past.
Yeah, so I actually really like that.
Yeah,
I think
very, very exciting.
Some of my favorite bits of the Christopher Nolan movies is when he went and he does the bullet stuff, and the second one when he actually gets down to earth and he detects, he does crime stuff, But I definitely feel like we were missing that in BBS. Like I definitely feel like we should have more detective Batman. But honestly, like everything about this trailer, it's pushing all my buttons. You have the black paint around the eyes because and every single
finally
Batman,
someone acknowledging that is the way that things need to be in order for him to have that cowl.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite bits is like in one of the Michael Keaton ones, he has it in one shot and then they cut to like the woman he's talking about and then he takes off the mask and he like rips the rubber mask off and he's like has a nice clean shiny new face. And it's like okay, number one, you broke your mask, and number two, because it's like it's all one piece. The Michael Keaton suit, it's like one giant piece. You got to turn your whole body to move.
Right.
And two, like the black paint just disappeared between shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the vibe of it, the way that it was shot, I think was really cool. I think it's gonna hit all the cinematography marks, like we already saw. And that's only 25% of the footage shot.
Yeah, like it seems like we have a full movie laid out in front of us, but it's only 25%, 30%, but definitely look exciting. I have a few hot, quick facts about this movie. Of course, we have the opening kind of main crux of the scene where Batman goes to the crime scene. All the cops are giving him like sort of side eyes and stuff.
Right.
Basically, and in that scene, he gets a special Halloween card, and the card reads, "What does a liar do when he's dead?" Well, and then it has a bit of some sort of zodiac.
The Riddler encryption. Yes.
Basically, due to amazing Reddit threads and basically the way they went about this is like they looked for recurring symbols. And for instance, there's like this little musical note that appears in the first word and then twice in the second word. So like you can confirm that sort of like that's like it confirms twice in the second word. So that's some sort of consonant like an L or an S. Mm-hmm. And basically, they have decrypted it to be he lies still. So what does a liar do when he's dead? He lies still. And I feel like this is like kind of hinting at the greater thing of this movie because the main crux of it is the funeral of someone who has been speculated to be the mayor of Gotham.
Yeah.
Right.
And kind of how he's maybe tied into the secret organization of crime, maybe with all the crime families like Falcone, who has been revealed to be in this movie.
Yeah.
There's a poster up and a newspaper clipping. And it's very exciting to the fact that I don't know, like I feel like this is very exciting. Maybe we're going to see the Court of Owls. Like that's also been speculated that they're kind of bringing it into like the main continuity through this game and this movie.
Yeah.
I want to see more delving into that. I want to see different variations of. There's so much within just the Batman comics and the Batman universe that
we're finally getting Polka Dot Man. I cannot understand how excited I am for Polka Dot Man.
That's the only person I really need to see in the
Polka Dot Solar movie.
Yeah,
exactly.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be. And I mean, can we talk about character transformations with Colin Farrell?
Oh my god, amazing!
I did not recognize him.
Yeah,
no one did. And then we're all going back like,
is that
I remember Colin Farrell was supposed to be Penguin. Like, I don't know if I saw him. And then I was like, no, he's there.
Yeah,
and we're like going back and forth. We're like, what?
And it has to be somewhere to find Colin Farrell, the hunky, man that he is now unrecognizable, man.
And we even got like a really dark shot. I don't think we even saw the full thing. But oh my god, he looked amazing.
So, since we're talking about the Batman, what do you guys think about the bat suit?
Ooh, I love this suit.
Yeah.
I'm a defender of the Christopher Nolan suit because I love the armored plated.
Yeah.
I did too.
I love
I
the.
did not get the hate on
I know.
that.
I love like kind of
I really liked it.
the military look to it, and this suit, like I said, pushes all my buttons. You got like the big chest plate. It's comic-y, stylized, but it's also usable. This Batman set in his year 2.
Yeah.
And we definitely could see that, his armor's gone through a few alterations. We have that logo, which looks like some sort of knife, or maybe the gun that killed his parents. Looks detachable in some sense, maybe like a batarang you can use as a weapon. I think it just looks great, like it's a perfect mix of kind of homemade, but also just like if a billionaire had 2 years to make a suit that crime fights, this is what he came
This
up
is what it would be, and that's exactly what they needed to hit on that mark, and they did. And Pattinson looks fantastic in it.
Yeah.
Like fantastic. Really, really showing off the jawline there.
Yes, we have a recurring bit in our podcast when we read an interview that he did during Corona, and he's like, "Oh, this is how I've been training for Batman. I've been doing sit-ups and stuff every day." And he goes on, it's a bit unrelated to Batman, but he goes on this day where he's like, "Yeah, it's been weird. I had to cook for myself," and basically he tells a story about he spent a night trying to learn to microwave pasta.
Oh my!
So you put a bowl of water with pasta in it in his microwave. And try to microwave.
Like, why would you?
And I don't know, like
poor Hollywood stars.
So he's been getting to the mind of Batman, deranged maniac who doesn't have Alfred to cook him meals. the night that Alfred went out to play bingo, like he's like Batman has to care for himself. He's just microwaving pasta.
Also, I just want to touch on like one of the many things I loved about this trailer, that you get to see that Batman doesn't have the level of respect with the GCPD as he does like in the future. Like we still see him like on rough terms with the police. Like
is that
they don't
coming
really
to that vigilante sense of being.
Yeah, it's kind of like, do we trust this guy? He's kind of some sort of legend of sorts. Like reminds me of the scene in I think The Dark Knight was like the wall is who is the Batman, and it has like Bigfoot, Elvis, and like it's like the police stay out of his way because he does crime. But I'm excited for the HBO. I think it's an HBO comic series. I think it's a series.
Oh yeah.
The Gotham police and kind of during the year 1 of Batman told from their perspective, or the perspective of Jim Gordon, as they learned about this mass vigilante taking out crime. I feel like something like that can really flesh out this universe in a good way.
I want that. I want to see more of that variety in these kinds of stories. I think that's what's going to help differentiate DC content from older movies, older films, and older things that they put out. Because there's always room to play in these kinds of things. So but I think even just again hearing Matt Reeves talk about it, he is such a he's like, to me, a first-year student filmmaker. That's what I feel like his mentality is. And it's not even that, it's just like I feel like his mindset towards filmmaking, he's nerdy. He loves just kind of playing with things and coming up with new ideas, being experimentative in an already established universe and with a very established character. And I love that. I think it's a fresh kind of mind that we need to these stories, and that we make sure that the director's vision stays true and they're not pressured by outside powers and that kind of thing.
So, have you seen anything else that he's done though?
He did the Planet of the Apes movies.
He's done all of them.
That's him? Yeah. Oh, I love those movies. That's great.
That's why he was talking about working with I think it was Andy Serkis. And
Alfred.
because his admiration for him and Planet of the Apes, and now obviously working on the Batman. Did we see Andy Serkis in the film? In the trailer?
We heard a voiceover of him.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in voiceover early. But he also did in 1996 a movie called The Pallbearers, starring Ross from Friends and Pepper Potts.
David Schwimmer and Gwyneth Paltrow. Wow.
Yes, American romantic comedy, co-written and directed by Matthew Reeves. So this is like I don't know. I thought that was a fun fact. I googled him. Look at this.
Reestablishing himself. I like it.
No, but he also did Cloverfield, which is
right.
I heard good things about.
That was such a good movie.
He did. Wow. Okay. Now I can kind of see where he's gaining some of his inspiration.
And Let Me In 2010, and then the Planet of the Apes movies, and then 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is of course the sequel.
Right.
So how do you guys feel about the Riddler being the main villain?
I love it. Riddler is such an understated villain.
Yeah.
In the comics, like I recently read the Hush storyline, that's a very Riddler eccentric kind of villain.
Yeah.
And I do think that his kind of whole deal of like seeing the corruption of Gotham, and Batman is taking down these crooks, but he's not looking at the bigger picture with all these corrupt politicians and people, influence the way Gotham works and destroying it from the inside is interesting.
Yeah.
And I feel like all the movie adaptations we got of him, like the 60s Batman was a goof in a jumpsuit.
Right.
I think who played Batman for that one? I believe it was
that
like in the Tim Burton universe, the sequel. Who played Batman for the world?
Was that Val Kilmer or am I wrong?
I think that was Val Kilmer.
I think it was Val Kilmer, right? No, who was it?
It was either Val Kilmer or George Clooney did the I probably should Google this. Riddler.
Oh, we're really behind on our knowledge of this.
Carrey played the Riddler one time.
Yes,
Riddler,
he did.
yeah,
I remember seeing that clip recently,
Batman
actually.
movies. Okay, let's see who we got here.
We're not all experts.
He was in Lego Batman, Batman Forever, Batman Return to the Cape. He was in Batman Forever, which is I really should. Yeah,
technical difficulties.
Crap before. It is Val Kilmer. Yes.
Oh, okay.
And of course, like he's played by Jim Carrey in that role. Yeah. It's basically just Jim Carrey doing Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
And then him also spouting really bad riddles.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're getting a new interpretation of it, and I think it's modern, and I think it's more true to comics. I think also now we're obviously getting more of these villain characters that aren't just like
the Joker constantly.
Yeah. Right. Or in that Joker-esque aspect of like, oh, I'm crazy. I'm this. Like we want more depth to our and that's what we're getting.
I think we're gonna have like a meticulous villain who's like in the sense of Joker, like having plans and like blowing people up with bombs, but like also is able to kind of trick and mislead Batman and put him through the rounds.
Right. We've seen the kind of differentiation between the Joker, who is more impulse, I guess you could say, just like more like chaotic, like he does it, like he's like
he takes what he wants, he doesn't care.
Right. He's not as calculated as other villains, like the Riddler, who is able to use his own like cryptic and like psychological own things to make more calculated and more complicated obstacles for Batman. Which is cool to see him in a different environment.
Exactly. Talk about casting though. I'm actually very excited to see Andy Serkis as Alfred.
Yeah.
I think that's
Alfred,
like,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. As in the beginning, I was like, really? That dude? But like I'm warming up to it. Like the voiceover sounds pretty good, because like I've seen him like as Claw, and if he does not sing "What Is Love" in this movie, this movie will suck. He needs to sing "What Is Love."
Also, I'm very excited for Paul Dano as the Riddler. I think he's an amazing actor.
Oh, he's
very underrated.
Exactly.
Very underrated.
Yeah.
Very underrated. I think he's gonna bring such a cool, own personality into the character that I don't think we would be able to see with anyone else.
Yeah. So Batman, sponsored by Duct Tape.
Yeah.
Actually, a very big sponsorship for this movie. Duct Tape, like that was a very big sponsorship. It was actually a $4.2 million deal to incorporate Duct Tape heavily in this movie.
That is hilarious.
No, but this is very exciting. Like honestly, like I feel like it keeps going up. Like I love okay, can we talk about the car real quick?
Oh yeah.
I love as much as the Tumbler and all the weird vehicles that they have. I love the original 60s Batman because it's just like cool looking car, has tech inside. I love this muscle car, open engine in the back, spitting out blue fire. It's very Adam West in a good way,
Yeah. And I think I remember reading somewhere that they spent, I think it was 3-4 years, making this, planning out for the Batmobile and making it come to life in the way they wanted to.
They spent a year.
Or a year, sorry. Wow, I really over-exaggerated there.
They spent since 1992. They've been making this car for this movie.
Exactly. One car.
Not even any of the other Batman movies who happened in between that, just for this movie in 2020.
Yeah.
Do you guys know if it's a real car? I believe there is a real car because for the Christopher Nolan movies, they did have a real Tumbler on set. They had multiple of them.
Well,
do all the jumping and stuff.
Christopher Nolan. Like Christopher Nolan loves his on-set.
Yeah.
Practical effects for life. I feel like this movie is fairly practical too. Because we do see a lot of the costumes and stuff.
I think he drew a lot of. I think Matt also commented he liked that kind of thing that Christopher was doing, the more practical effects in this story. So I think he was trying to incorporate that more.
Exactly. Yes.
But
who else is in this movie? I think. Oh, I really love Jeffrey Wright as Gordon. I thought
Yeah,
that
I feel like he was born to play this kind of role.
Yeah,
I
he's
don't
so
know why.
underrated.
As soon as they cast
Yeah.
him, I'm like, that was one of the only people I could have seen. In
Yeah,
that.
He's in Watchmen, Casino Royale. He's just in everything these days. You know?
Right.
He's gonna be the new one, I think, the new James Bond movie.
Oh, is he? I don't know if he is.
No Time to Die, because I'm James Bond and I will never die.
Right.
But
yeah, I think also Zoe Kravitz.
That's Catwoman.
We didn't get to see her too much.
I think it's gonna be like a very hush kind of like their relationship is gonna be built. It's like I'm a cat burglar, and then they just like fight and fall in love. It's gonna be great, and then she's gonna betray him in the end.
I feel like she also hasn't, like, since we're seeing a year 2, she also hasn't found her identity yet. So it's gonna be interesting to see that development.
Same thing with kind of with Cheetah as well. I like to see the progression.
Yeah.
You feel like you're going along with the character, and it makes more sense when the character does things.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the director did say though that like Catwoman and Penguin have not become their fully formed comic book villains yet, and through this movie they will. Like the Penguin is like called the Penguin, be like he hates it, and he's like, oh, don't call me the Penguin, and like he's just starting to build this crime empire, build his image, and then it's been like tarnished because like, hey, you're the Penguin because you're fat or you look like a penguin. Maybe you just had like a penguin pop socket on his phone, just like we're calling you Penguin now. And he's just like, no, I hate that. I don't know.
I love these theories. These like they give depth to these.
Exactly. Everything has a reason, Exactly.
I think we hit everyone though in the cast.
Yeah.
Overall,
so we haven't really seen I didn't expect them to show such a long trailer. Like I thought it was gonna be 30 seconds or something.
I thought it was gonna be very similar to like the first teaser. It's gonna be like some more suits or maybe a fight scene. Can we talk about the fight scene though?
It was
amazing. As proving that Robert Pattinson can do stuff. I think they just went to what's the most brutal thing we have right now? And literally the reaction of all the guys watching was literally like my reaction. It was like, what the hell? This is awesome.
It was it wasn't like masked by any tech or anything like that. It was literally like it was a raw fight scene of him just bashing someone in with his pure anger.
And
it was like that's the drive that pushes Batman to do the things he does. Like that's
Robert Pattinson batting someone in with a bat.
Oh god, it's making me headache.
Exactly. Say that 5 times fast. No, but I definitely feel like he's proven like no one's gonna be saying Robert Pattinson's Twilight. Robert Pattinson is too teen romance to play for this. He's Batman. He's ready.
He looks amazing.
Honestly, I never doubted him from the start. I thought he was gonna bring something new and fresh to the character. So I was just really excited to see him in the costume.
Exactly.
He's definitely exceeded my expectations really in seeing that principal photography done. And then seeing him in the trailer, even teaser, there's so much to come and it's gonna be amazing. But yeah, so I think we basically hit the main points to DC fandom.
What do you guys think is your favorite announcement, or what are you guys most excited for?
Oh, I think for me it's gonna be between Snyder Cut and Batman.
Same.
I think I'm gonna say Snyder Cut just because I was so emotionally attached to that entire movement for so long.
Yeah, same.
So to see it come to life is just like a dream come true for me, not to mention millions of people around the world. But Batman is like a very close second.
I'll probably say Suicide Squad. Just the prospect of a giant rat running around, is talking like the voice of like Sean. You're never gonna
get over.
It's so great. And Polka Dot Man, like I feel like he's gonna be bullied. It's like, dude, you're Polka Dot Man, you suck. And then he's gonna be like, he's gonna be like, I'll save you with polka dots.
But watch him be like the biggest highlight of the movie.
Exactly, he's gonna be amazing.
Right. Even James Gunn mentioned who his favorite character. He was asked who his favorite character was, and he said Polka Dot Man. So I think he's going to incorporate Polka Dot Man in a big way.
Yeah, we need Calendar Man too. We need Clock Man. We need these are all real villains too. Clock Man. It's Clock King, Calendar Man.
All villain lives are important, and the stories deserve to be told.
That's why I love Lego Batman movie, because it was just like that opening scene was just like, here's every Batman villain that you don't even know, but amazing.
but there. But
so,
yeah.
Do you guys want Batman to be a trilogy?
I want it to be a quadrilogy. I want it to be never-ending Batman movies. Batman forever.
Okay, my thing is I want it to be, but I also don't want it to drag on. there's a lot of franchises that could have just ended after the first one or the first two, and I think just to like in like an artsy sense, like just preserve it the way it is, because then you kind of ruin it by trying to drag it on too long. Exactly. So I think if it's meant to be that it's only a film or it's only 2 films, it's meant to be that way. Like I don't think they need to push it or do anything like that to it.
But it would be interesting to see Robert Pattinson with the Justice League.
Exactly. Oh, that would be really interesting.
I definitely feel like if they have the Flash being such a multiverse, like the actor who plays Flash, Lily said, like, yeah, Flash going to the multiverse, they could definitely just bring him in.
Yeah.
Okay, one more point we didn't touch on. I feel like the Ben Affleck Batman is the Batman of like space and time. He will go and fight Superman. I feel like Robert Pattinson, and you guys may agree, is more gonna be like more Christopher Nolan, more grounded in this universe.
Yeah.
I feel like
agree with that.
A Batman like him couldn't really mix with the Justice League. Like that's why I'm glad they didn't connect Christian Nolan's Batman into it, because it doesn't really work. He has military technology. Everything's grounded, you know?
I think the way I see it is that Robert Pattinson is Gotham's Batman, and Ben Affleck's is DC's Batman.
Is like the universe's Batman. Is space Batman.
That's what. Yeah, like he just kind of like he can go with anything. Exactly. And those are the two sides of the Batman. Like you either have him in his soul, like in himself with his story and in his own city, or you have him mixed up with different characters in the universe. So I think it's a good thing to have those two. I don't know if mixing them is the best idea or trying to do anything like that to them, but overall, I think DC really made some amazing decisions with choosing directors, choosing content or stories or characters. It's going to be very exciting, and I think DC is finally stepping up to the plate for films. And is going to be a really competitive force against Marvel. I think Marvel's actually going to have to watch out now. Honestly, and I never thought I would say that. Honestly, I really didn't.
I forgot about Marvel after March.
Yeah, I know. It's like Marvel who?
Yeah, Marvel who?
Yeah, Marvel who? Joss Whedon Avengers? Who's Joss Whedon? Oh, yeah, he's the guy who did that horrible Justice League movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
And everything else he did was horrible. Yeah, we should not watch Avengers.
His Avengers movie was bad, too, to be honest.
Whoa. Maybe that could be another discussion for another day.
We'll have to come back to that one.
Exactly. For the meantime, though, on my podcast, we do a little segment at the end called What We're Reading, Recommended, Let's Rec Some Stuff. We haven't found a name, but we basically recommend some things that we love or what we've been listening to, watching, reading this week. I'll go first. I have 2 things to recommend. I, of course, have been playing the Arkham games. So good. The story is amazing. Basically, the first one follows Joker taking control of Arkham, and you as Batman have to go in and basically take down every goon in prison. So much iconic villains. The aesthetic is amazing. And one thing, which is actually I've been hyping up for a while, but no one seems to know it exists. One of my favorite directors is Edgar Wright. I love every one of his films. Yeah. And basically, before he did Shaun of the Dead, he did a few TV series, and one of them is called Spaced. Simon Pegg and
that actually.
Yeah, I think I've heard of that too.
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are in it, and basically.
That duo was like.
I know, it's great. This is Nick Frost's first role ever. Before that, he was a waiter, and Simon Pegg brought him on. It's hey, I have a friend. Let's do this. Basically, it tells the story of Tim and Daisy. And there you have to pretend to be a couple to get this apartment.
Right.
And imagine a sitcom done in the style of Edgar Wright, but everything's completely crazy. This sitcom is
that seems
it's like British Community, really, but if Community was super homage-y and did it's hard to describe this show. It's just so good. There's episodes where they have giant Fight Club Robot Wars episode where they have epic paintball battles and betrayal. There's episodes where, they literally break into a secure facility as Star Wars characters to get a dog that was kidnapped.
Okay, I'm checking out this.
I'm going to check that out too.
This sounds
on Amazon Prime. It's a short series. Fantastic. 2 seasons, 7 episodes a season.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely checking it out.
It's really watch on the weekend and really be blown away at the inventives. The writing's amazing. The directing's amazing.
That's amazing. I love that.
Wright was the one who did Scott Pilgrim, right?
Yes, he did.
He
Scott
did Baby
Pilgrim.
Driver too, right?
That's
Yeah,
one of my
Baby Driver. The
Baby
Kinetic,
Driver is one of my favorite films of like.
Shaun of the Dead,
ever.
Hot Fuzz,
Yeah, he's
World's End, which is
Hot Fuzz as
underrated.
well.
Yeah, he's an amazing director.
Exactly. And he's doing a new movie, a kind of a horror mystique movie, I think. Let me just Google it.
Google Clutch one more time.
Right,
He did
Google
Tintin,
Clutch.
right?
Pardon me?
He did The Adventures of Tintin, right?
Yeah, he did. He worked on Tintin. Yes. He is The Last Night in Soho, or Soho.
Oh, I heard.
Soho, yeah.
Yeah. Basically, it's going to be kind of his new sort of like dark horror kind of mix into it.
Wow.
Yeah, but he's done a few things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's very exciting. What are you guys reading, watching, listening to this week?
I'll go second. I am, again, I mean, probably as many other you people listening are, huge film buff. I love watching like films. Literally, that's my hobby. And I'm also really into older films, so like 50s, 60s, 70s. That's my vibes. So I have a master films list, I like to call it, with over like 300 films from some very famous directors like Sidney Lumet, Billy Wilder. I've got Hitchcock, Darren Aronofsky, Denis Villeneuve. Like, I got everyone. So some of the films I did actually finally end up watching this week were Witness for the Prosecution by Billy Wilder. Fantastic, really well done, as are all Billy Wilder films. What I just watched today, actually right before this, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest with Jack Nicholson, who is amazing, and I'm so happy I finally came around to watching that film because it's an iconic film in film history. Like,
I've heard good things about that
one. It's amazing. It's so like well done. And what was the other one I watched? I think there was one more. What was it? Oh, it was The Freshman, which is a really interesting one. It's a comedy, kind of. It's with Marlon Brando and Michael. What's his name? Oh my goodness, I'm forgetting. The from Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Michael Broderick.
Yeah, Broderick. Yeah, it's both of them, and it's kind of like a mocking of The Godfather. So he's an Matthew Broderick is an NYU student, and he gets called in from Marlon Brando. And he's obviously a film student at NYU, so he immediately says, "Oh my God, he'd look exactly like Don Vito Corleone from The Godfather." And obviously, they don't say anything, but it's kind of like making fun of the whole mobster crime genre. Okay, and it's a hidden class. It's a gem. I loved it. I was
What's this one called again?
The Freshman. Seeing Marlon Brando in some of the last years of his life in a comedic role is one thing I never thought I would ever see, like, in my life. So those three were amazing this week. I definitely have to get through some more, but for this week, I think I did a good job. What else? Armand, what about you?
What are you into, Armand?
So I've just been really into animation recently, so I've been rewatching all the Studio Ghibli films on Netflix. If you didn't know, I'm a huge Studio Ghibli fan.
Oh, yeah.
My favorite, like, some of the best animation I've ever seen in my entire life.
Handcrafted frames. It's like amazing.
Hayao Miyazaki, who's the creator of Studio Ghibli, one of the best filmmakers I've ever seen. I highly recommend all their films. All of them have such amazing and beautiful animation and such amazing life lessons and characters that you will fall in love with. So they're all on Netflix too, so I highly recommend checking out all of them. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I definitely feel like Netflix is coming in clutch during this time.
Yeah.
No, but I want to thank you guys for letting me talk to you guys about DC FanDome.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
This collaboration, again, long time coming, and I'm so happy we finally did it. We are huge fans of your podcast, and we think this episode was so much fun to do, and I think just sharing our love of DC.
Exactly. It's always fun to nerd out with some fellow nerds.
Right, and we're definitely going to do this again because this was way too much fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for Beyond the Film listeners, just keep out on the account. We're going to go back to our regular schedule after our special DC FanDome scheduling was done. And we'll be back on it with our Monday movie recommendations, our Friday film reviews, and regular content throughout the week.
Yeah. And for me, keep an eye on the YouTube. I'm going to be doing some kind of custom reviews of the new movies, such as Tenet or Bill and Ted. I'm on New Mutants, which is finally coming out after years.
5,000 years.
5,000 years anticipation. Comes out this Friday of recording this. I'm excited for the tornado to destroy all copies of this film and for an asteroid to destroy the Earth and the moon crashing into the Earth before we get to see it. But I'm going to be definitely doing some quick reviews of that on the YouTube exclusive to that. So check me out there, RobCast Podcast on YouTube, RobCast Podcast 1 on Instagram and all the socials. Check me out on Spotify. And that's it, everyone. Yeah.
All right. So thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you all soon.
Yeah, see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.